Many of you may not know, but I am also in addition to being a family lawyer, I also teach government at our local community college, El Centro. And this bill is especially consequential for me. Most of my students, the students that attend my Texas and federal government class, are students of color and immigrants, inner city students. And I work hard to ensure that they learn about the Constitution, about this beautiful American dream that we all live and strive to live and aspire to make into a better country. And every semester I give my students a pocket constitution, and I explain to them whether you're black, brown, or white, citizen or immigrant, this is your constitution. This constitution belongs to you, and it's up to you to learn it, to fight for it, and to share it with others, what you've learned in the Constitution.
Members, please take your conversations outside the chamber.
And I'd like to share with you one of my, I guess, most successful lectures in my class, which is why this bill, I think, is very consequential for government professors and teachers. You have to work really hard as a professor, especially government, right, to make sure that your students understand what you're learning, that they embrace it, that they own it. So one of my lectures is about the First Amendment. And we talk about controversial things. And when we do the First Amendment, we talk about the 5 rights within the First Amendment, one of them being freedom of speech. And, you know, for semesters, for years, I banged my head, how can I get them to understand the value of the First Amendment? So I decided through music, right? All young 18, 20, 25-year-old, they love music. So I played for them a protest song. I introduced them to Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Now, many of you may or may not know that song is a protest song. It's a controversial song about protesting the Vietnam War. Unfortunately, many of my students never heard of Bruce Springsteen. They had no idea who Bruce Springsteen is. But after that song, and we studied what it meant and the Vietnam War during that time and what the song says, I also introduced him to a rap song by Two Live Crew called Banned in the USA. Yes. And it's the same beat as Born in the USA. But it's about protecting First Amendment rights. And my students get it. And I tell them, okay, now your job is to bring your protest song. And that's where the magic happens. They go home and they study music, and they learn about their First Amendment rights to freedom of speech. They bring me songs, rap songs, country songs. Many of these immigrant students, they bring songs from their country to talk about what's going on in India and Bangladesh and Korea and Mexico. They bring songs from Los Tigres del Norte. They embrace the First Amendment through music. And that is why I am against this bill, because I provide them the tool. We have to be creative. Let them talk, and we have to meet them where they're at through any tool that a teacher can find to make sure you find that connection. And that's where my students learn and begin embracing the value of their U.S. Constitution, of their First Amendment right. And so I just want to remind everybody that the controversy is important, and our history is important. And unfortunately, yesterday, and part of this bill is to not bring those conversations, those topics, and unfortunately, we voted down a bill that talked about the insurrection and the stain on American democracy. But I want to close with this, because although we voted against that insurrection bill or amendment yesterday, and people showed up during the insurrection with Confederate flags, I'd like to share with you the Confederate Vice President Alexander Stephens' cornerstone speech. And what he said is, our new government is founded upon exactly the opposite ideas. Its foundations are laid. Its cornerstone rests upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery subordination to the superior race is his natural and normal condition. This, our new government, is the first in the history of the world based upon this great physical, philosophical, and moral truth. And that is why we need to know the history of what the people that were there in the beginning and how we're aspiring to be better every day, and share this beautiful document, the living, breathing document that's called the U.S. Constitution. Thank you, members. I ask that you vote down this bill.